It could be a goal.
A goal. It could be a goal. That's tricky because a goal is a noun, but achieve is a verb. So they are not equivalent. It's close.
Maybe it's like succeed in something.
Mhm.
In some, I don't know.
I actually,
Activity or okay.
no, yes, continue. In some activity or in something to achieve. Okay, actually, this, I like the word succeed, but it's not always about succeed something, you know? Let's talk about
Uh-huh.
the goal. Elsie said the word goal, and you only need something to do with the goal. Probably the word that you can use is the word reach. To reach a goal. That's why the word succeed can be a synonym, you know, right? But also it can be the word reach or
Which
to be able to do something, right? Example, you want to achieve an intermediate English level. I want to achieve all the goals in my life. I want to reach all the goals in my life. And last year, I finally achieved to buy my first car. The word achieve is to finally reach something. This vocabulary will be so useful to understand the next class because we are going to talk about achieving purposes, which is over here. Achieving purposes. Look at these examples. A spoon, this is a spoon, has the purpose of eating. A computer has the purpose of calculating faster. A smartphone has the purpose of talking with our family. This purpose are things that you achieve. Okay? This vocabulary is necessary to understand purpose because we are going to translate the connector for purpose. What is a connector for purpose? Does anybody know?
Of.
For, right? Can you give me an example, Hector?
For purpose is for or of.
Ah, off. You said off?
Yes. Of.
Ah, incorrect. It's for.
Yes. For. Okay.
Yes. Yes, connector is for. You're very close because the connector of is for nouns. This is the class of English. I like to listen music of this author, you know? But for is a connector that we use to talk about purpose. For example, the spoon, one more time. Is for the soup. And what's the name of the other one? The fork is for the pasta.
Okay.
You see? That's why the connector for is used for the purpose. All right?
For example, example is I need drive a car for purpose to my job.
You need to drive a car for what?
For purpose to my job.
For purpose?
Uh-huh.
For purpose. For the, okay. Well, you cannot connect the word purpose. You need to connect what? Yeah, you need a car for reaching or driving to your work, arriving to your work. What else? What is the purpose of the car?
Visit supplier.
Visit a supplier. Exactly. Visit a partner company. I don't know, or only arriving early to the office. That's precisely the use of purpose. You see?
Okay, teacher.
Here is the trick. There is a problem with the connector for. I'm going to show you that you can also use the connector to talk about purpose. Observe this. The spoon is to eat the soup. The fork is to eat the pasta. No connector for. What happened in this case? You see? I'm going to show you what happens when we use the connector to, or we translate these words into English. Expressing purpose in English can be tricky if you think in Spanish. Because if you translate para, the word para in English, in Spanish, you automatically get the connector for, but you cannot say, I use the car for visit. That's incorrect. You know? People tend to make these common mistakes to protecting or for protect. Another mistake that, for example, in this case, for Hector's examples, how do you translate? Uso el carro para visitar a un cliente. Para visitar a los clientes. How do you express that in English?
I use the car to visit the oh my god the
You need exposure in English. How do you say clientes in English, guys? Nope.
Customers.
Customers, exactly. I think Hector said suppliers, no?
Yes, teacher. Supplier.
Yeah, you said suppliers. The suppliers are suppliers with double P, and that's it. That's the correct form. Because if you say for visit, because you are thinking in Spanish, it's very probable that you use a connector for, and this is incorrect. Do you know when to use for and when to use to? Does anyone know when to use for and when to use to?
For is for gifts, for example.
For what?
For gifts.
For gift? What is gift?
Gift.
Gifts? Presents.
Yes. And two is for action.
Okay, the second one is right. I like the second one. Two is for actions, for verbs, right?
Yes.
But the first one, I mean, a present. What about the word visiting, for example? Visiting is not a present.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's not the one.
Consequence.
Consequence. That doesn't match. Okay, let's talk about it. Don't worry. Here is the lesson. We have two options when we are speaking about purpose. Remember, purpose, the class is about purpose. We are not talking about presents, we are not talking about flowers, we're talking about purpose. And there are two options. You can use the connector to and the connector for. In this example, we are talking about a protecting case. What is a protecting case? This is a protecting case. Okay? For protection, no? Every time you talk about purpose, the rule is simple. The connector to is going to be for verbs. And the connector for is going to be for nouns. So whenever you have a question and you want to translate para in English, you need to guess if you are using a verb or you're using a noun. Teacher, why protecting is a noun? It's not an ing verb. In this case, protecting represents an activity. Here, the ing word is not a verb. Attention. This word is an activity. It's the purpose of the case. Do you understand or you don't understand? What do you think? Easy peasy or difficult? Question. No questions.
The two answers are correct.
The two answers are correct. Yes. A protect is used to protect or for protecting. It's never, Hector, to protecting or for protect.
In the example of the car again, in is I use the car for visiting.
Exactly. Very good. For visiting the suppliers.
Visiting supplier.
Exactly. You have two options, for visiting the suppliers or to
To
visit the
visit
suppliers.
the supplier. Okay.
Never cross the connectors. That's a very common problem in the certification exam. Many students commit this mistake. Many. So, attention on this. Any question? What you need to do is to identify if the word is a verb or the word is a noun. You are going to use the connector to or the connector for according to the structure. If it's a noun, you need for. If it's a verb, you need to. Are you ready? Let's practice. Number one. Brian, help me with the first one.
Matches are for lighting fires.
For lighting fires. That is correct. For lighting fires. Good job, my man. Very good. If you say to light fires, that sounds strange. It's better to use this one. Right? Next. Number two, Elsie.
He went to the park for relaxing.
Very good. That's correct. For relaxing. There are two options in this case. You can say for relaxing, but you can also say to relax. The two options are possible too. To relax. Okay. The next one. Go, Mitch.
This knife is to. What it means? Grapefruit?
Okay. Let me, before I answer, ask the question again. Let's check your question. What it means. Means is a verb. Okay. Which means that you need the structure for present. How do you make a question in present? Okay. Means is a verb with S. Right? If you want to make a question using the verb mean, you need to use this. So the question is, what?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Substitute
Okay.
it for grapefruit.
What does mean grapefruit?
Don't change the position.
What does grapefruit mean?
Excellent. What does grapefruit mean? Very good question. And the answer is it a delicious fruit similar to orange? Grapefruit. This is a delicious grapefruit.
Okay. Okay.
Remember that for the questions, eh? When you make a question, don't forget the auxiliary.
Okay. Sorry.
No, don't. No problem.
This knife is to cut grapefruits.
Excellent. This knife is to cut grapefruit, and there is another option. What would the other
For
option?
cutting
Yes,
grapefruit.
for cutting grapefruit, because we are talking about purpose. Good job. Good job.
Okay. Teacher, I have a question.
Tell me, what's up?
How do I know when we can use both both forms?
There are very few exceptions when you cannot. But it's every time you talk about purpose, you can use both.
Okay.
Okay. The interesting part here is that you don't cross the connectors. That's the most important part. Don't cross them. Never use to cutting or for cut.
Okay.
That's
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. All right. This one is incorrect. It's by. Okay. Next one, go Caesar.
Okay, teacher. We stopped at the shop. To buy bread.
Good. To buy what?
To buy bread.
Breathe is this. This is breathe. I am breathing in this moment.
Oh, okay. Bread.
Perfect. To buy bread. Exactly. Repeat.
We stopped at the shop to buy bread.
Exactly. That sounds excellent. In this case, it's better to use buy. Let me check how. Which had a very good question. How do I know I should use infinitive or ing to express purpose? Expressing purpose with 2 and 4. We use for plus ing to talk about the purpose or function of a thing, what an object is used for. Don't use for plus ing to talk about why we do something. Oh, okay. Okay. I have an illumination moment. Okay. Look. Let's talk about these rules. Here we have examples. Here we have the titles, okay? So answering Michelle's questions. For example, right now when Cesar was answering, Cesar was correct, but we cannot say ing in this case. So let's read these examples. The first examples that you have on top. Okay, we don't use for plus ing. Take a note, to say what is the purpose of our actions. If we are talking about the why we do something, the answer to why, we should not say, I work hard for improving my English. This is incorrect. For improving, because we are talking about the why. Why are you, no, why do you work hard in the class, in your English class? The answer should be, I work hard to improve. Do you understand? But we don't understand. Another, why you turn the TV on? The answer, this one is incorrect. And this one is correct. Does it clarify better the question?
No.
No, it doesn't clarify better the question. I repeat my question. Does it clarify better? Yes. The answer is yes. Comprehension, Caesar. You're doing the opposite. It's like when you say, do you agree? Yes. Do you disagree? No. Be careful with that. Comprehension. Anyway, if you are talking about the purpose as a verb of a function or an object, okay, in this case, you can use ing. Coming back, this is the thing. Let's continue trying. Benji, number 5.
Sure.
Oh, yes.
I have a question.
What's up?
So,
In the number 2, he went
Of
to the
course.
park for relaxing. It must be
To
uh,
relax.
he went to the park to relax.
Yes, yes, this one is incorrect. Mhm. This one should be to relax. Because we are talking about the why, no? I agree with you. Let's eliminate the second. This one is incorrect. It's only 2.
Thank you.
Totally correct. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent.
it is the same in the third
In the
for
third,
cutting.
not really. In the third one, we are talking about the purpose of the object. That's the reason over here it says use for plus ing to talk about the purpose or function of an object. In this case, we're talking about the machine, the special camera. So in this case, ing is correct.
Okay, but to cut, it's incorrect.
No, you can use both. If you talk about the object, you can use both. If you talk about the why, you can use only 2.
Only. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly. So let's do let's complement that information here. This machine is used for cleaning cars, or this machine is used to clean cars. And both options
Okay.
are correct. Mhm. This is a special camera for photographing small objects, and this is a special camera to photograph small objects. Photograph is a very difficult word. Let's use the word capture. Capture for capture.
Teacher, the context determine the what connector is
What connector to use?
we use. Yeah.
What is the difference between one and another?
Mm, for explained whatever use to
Or-
explain
okay.
whatever
Explain whatever.
use or
Whatever.
yeah, something, sorry, something.
But what? Something
Yeah.
is too abstract. Be more specific.
I don't know, for to explain the why for action use
Okay. No, use to.
use to, sorry, yeah, to and explain
Repeat that.
to explain for action use to
To explain what about the action?
why. Yeah,
Complete. To explain.
explain the why for the action
Exactly.
you use to, no,
Use
and
to plus.
ing.
No, to plus simple
Yeah,
verb.
yeah, sorry, I'm listening the other. Okay, yeah, use a simple verb. Okay,
Don't forget the two. It's together.
two plus simple verb.
Exactly. Two plus simple verb. I like it. And in the second example,
Use for purpose or functions. For example,
purpose of functions of what?
of an object.
Of an object. Super important. In that case, which one do we use? For or to?
What, teacher?
In this case, which one do we use? For or to?
In what case?
In the case that you mentioned, for the purpose or a function of an object.
Use for plus say ing, verb in ing.
You can use both.
Oh yeah, but the context is important for what connector use in this case.
No, in the second one, you can use both.
Yes.
It can be for, or it can be to. It can be the two. Both are correct.
Okay.
Okay, similar to this.
Okay.
All right. That's the difference. So remember, it's not whatever, eh? You need to be more specific. The word whatever is very abstract. It's very open. You need to be super specific with the rules.
Okay.
So then let's try with the next one. Benji.
Okay.
Speakers are to play music.
The speakers are for playing music.
You are totally correct. For playing, because we are talking about the purpose of an object. Like Cesar said. Purpose of an object, we use ing. In this case, do you have the other option or only one?
Mm, mm, it's possible the speakers are to play music.
Exactly. In this case, you can use both. Mhm. Correct. Very good. Next one, Laurita, number 6.
Yes, I made a cake to practice baking.
Very good. I made a cake to practice baking because we are talking about the why.
Yes, in
That's
baking,
correct.
N in ing, E-A-N-G.
For practicing?
Baking and
Oh,
And-
okay.
I-N-G.
Yes, but that is not the purpose. No.
Yes.
The purpose of the cake is the practice.
Practice.
Yeah, it's not the baking. Good,
Yes.
good. All right. In this case, Laurita, is there a second option?
No, teacher.
No, right? We're talking
No.
about the why.
First word
Exactly.
and ing and redundance, practicing and baking.
Practicing baking. Ah, okay. That's another option. Yes, of course. I agree with you. Mhm. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next. Elsie.
I want to go out tonight.
Correct. That is right. Is there another option in this case?
I think so. I want. No. Sounds strange.
Super strange. That's right. It sounds super strange. We cannot say I want foregoing, that sounds very weird. And that is not purpose. We are not expressing purpose in this number 7. The next one. Brian.
He went to a restaurant to lunch.
That is totally incorrect.
Why?
What happened over here? The reason here is lunch is not a verb, brother. Lunch is a noun. Remember that breakfast, lunch, and dinner are not actions.
You
talked about
always
this.
put me. That's trap. And I always fall in it.
Well, no, sometimes you mastered my traps. So I want to check if, that you are always alert. So remember, lunch, dinner, and breakfast, they are not verbs in English. In Spanish, yes, but in English, they're not.
Okay.
That's the difficult part. What about Hector, number 9?
He thanked everyone for coming.
Wow, good job. That's right. For coming. Why in this case you selected for?
Because come is for both.
Yes,
And,
but that's not the reason, bro.
Okay.
That's not the reason. Let me help you with this. Every time you say thank you, we usually say thank you together with the connector for. So take a note on this one, guys. Look. Some expressions have a standard connector. For example, when you say thanks for the flowers, you are automatically using the connector for. You see? And why do we use for? Well, because the verb thanks goes together with the connector for. If you say, I brought some presents for your kid. You see, like Cesar said at the beginning, for is used for presents and for gifts. Similar when you use welcome. Yes, Cesar, that's correct. So when you say welcome to the cake factory, you never use a connector for. You're going to use a connector to. Why? Because you use the expression welcome.
Depend the action of the person.
The expression.
The expression. Okay.
And the action. In this case, we're talking about welcome, thanks, or when you are talking about presents.
Teacher,
Yes.
did you say that welcome is works with two?
Welcome used with to, yes. Welcome to the cake factory, like buddy. Welcome to the cake factory. Welcome to the class. There is always a standard connector that you cannot replace. You cannot move it. But all this is kindergarten English. You know, this is like A2 English and this is B1 English. All right. Anyway, it's super important to match these two. That's why we use for coming in this case. Because you have the verb thank. Thank you for. The last one. The last one goes for Mitch.
She went home to study.
Totally correct. He will have to study. Why? Because we are talking about the why, the reason he went home. Okay. Is there another option in this case, Mitch?
Mm, I guess not.
You're right. In this case, there is no other option. Good job. There we go, guys. Exercise solved. What I want you to do in this moment is to check what is going on with the ing, because in the exam we need to speak about purpose a lot. We need to use these expressions very, very well. And the problem that we have in English is the problem with the ing. Okay, as you can see, the ing has different applications, and this is the most important part for tomorrow's practice. You can use the word in ing as a noun, as a verb, or as an adjective. And these are very independent applications of the same word. This is super B1, eh? If you have this ability, you can super pass the exam, eh? B1 plus. The ing word has different applications. What is the difference? Let's understand this. The noun is used when you are talking about hobbies and activities. We have talked about this before, okay? In previous classes, we talked about hobbies and activities. When you say, for example, let's imagine a hobby that you like. Tell me things that you love, hate, or love. Anyone? Shopping. Hiking. Playing video games. Another activity that you love, hate, or enjoy. Studying English.
Eating,
Drinking.
running,
Eating, running. What did you say before? Before running? Somebody said eating, and what else? I don't remember. Shopping, hiking, playing video games, reading, studying English, eating, running, watching movies. Climbing. Climbing. Swimming. Skiing. Playing golf. Or golfing. Those are these activities that we do every Friday, you know that? Golfing, gambling in the casino.
Drinking.
These activities that we usually do on Fridays with your partners and your associates.
dancing,
Dancing. Exactly. So every time you talk about activities, now you have the idea. It's ing. It's not the verb. You must not use the verb. You see? Use this as a reference. Usually after love, hate, like, and enjoy. There we go. The second one. The second one is when you talked about the verb. This one. We use the word protecting as an ing. We are talking about the structure for verbs in ing, the structure 6. We are talking precisely about the structure handbook. And what is structure 6? Actions happening right now. No, structure 6 or structure 4? I need to change this number, no? Structures handbook. Yeah, no, it's number 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Right? This is what we're talking about in this case. When the verb in ing is an action, we are talking about this structure in your handbook. So, what verbs do we use? Going, playing, traveling, having, going, playing, having, traveling, studying, speaking, right? Buying. In this case, we cannot use the word shopping. It's impossible. In this case, we need to use buying because buying is a verb. Do you understand what I'm saying or not?
Yes, teacher.
Right? That's the difference between shopping and buying. Shopping is an activity. Buying is an action. Walking is an activity. No, sorry, it's an action. But hiking is an activity. Climbing is an activity. Jogging is an activity. Do you see the difference between this and this? Or not?
Yes.
These are the two. The last one is this. When the ing can work as an adjective. The position of a word, in this case, protecting glass for my phone. Like this one. This is a protecting glass for my phone. The word protecting is a derivative of the verb protect. But we are using the word protect before the noun glass. And because it is before the verb, the noun glass, this is not an action and this is not an activity. This is an adjective, a description. And in this case, we can talk about many different examples. We can talk about emotions, adjectives of emotion. And we can also talk about adjectives of purpose, precisely. What kind of adjectives of emotions? Amazing, surprising, depressing, exciting, interesting, confusing,
Screaming.
Can you repeat, Caesar?
Screaming.
Screaming. That's not an description. No, the description is scary.
Okay.
So that's very different because the scream is the action, is to this is to scream.
Yes.
The word is scary. Remember, scary movie,
Yeah.
right? That's the best reference you can have.
Boring.
Boring, very good. Boring.
Loving.
Yeah.
Loving.
Loving, exactly. A loving person. That's right. All of this. On the other side, we can have adjectives of purpose, like the protective glass, or the dining room. You know what is a dining room?
Yes.
Right? A room for dining, a room to eat, with a table for your people, for your family. Screening. No. What would be?
Holding bottle, for example.
Holding bottle. That doesn't exist, brother. Holding bottle? What is holding?
Cold. Cold. Opposite. Hot.
Okay. Cooling.
Cool.
Cooling, no colding. Will be a cooling bottle. Let me check if that exists. Cooling bottle. Then cooling bottle. Oh wow, look at this. Cooling bottle buyers, suppliers, importers. Were you thinking these bottles?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you have it. Cooling bottles. Okay. It's for cooling, really? Cooling bottle. Double walled construction keeps drinks hot or cold without getting sweaty or too hot to the touch. You can shower water on your face and rain. That's strange. I don't know if the concept is native, eh? Because this is India and they have very strange translations.
I think that is because ing is something that the object can do,
Ajá.
and this
exactly.
bottle don't get cool the water.
The
Only
water.
only conserve the temperature.
Exactly. You know what can be, you can use the word cooling? A cooling system for air conditioner in your car. A cooling system is the AC in your car. Or the cooling system in the refrigerator. Probably that one is correct too, because as Elsie says, the object produces the temperature. In this case, the bottle doesn't produce the temperature. The bottle only keeps the temperature. That's why cooling bottle doesn't match, brother. It will be cooling system with a different object.
Okay, I understand.
Mhm.
This-
There is another. Do you play video games? I don't know if you like shooters. Do you like shooters? Video games with guns?
Yeah, shooting video games.
Shooting video games, exactly. Or in the shooter video games, you normally have the shooting range. Who knows what is a shooting range?
I never listened shooting range.
Then we need to play your games in English, man. The shooting range is the area,
Oh, okay.
an area dedicated to practice your shooting. This is a physical shooting range, and there are video game shooting range. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember, yeah, I saw shooting range in
have seen it.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil, exactly. It's impossible that you haven't seen it. It's super common. In Valorant, we have a lot of practice in the range. You see? So, in a nutshell, ing word, nutshell. This is it, my people. The ing words in a nutshell. Take a note, because tomorrow you are going to write, and I will give you assessment on your writing. So please, super study this for tomorrow. Do you have any question?
Not for me, teacher.
Super cool. We finished for today, guys.
Thank you, teacher.
You too.
Thank you, teacher.
Good night,
Have
guys.
a good night. Create your glossary. Nobody sent me your glossary.
Teacher,
Okay.
teacher,
What's up, sister?
please send me your user or email for Notion.
Okay, let me send it to you. So you can copy me and collaborate with me.
Yeah, I'm finished my glossary Notion.
Cool. Okay. Which actually is the same, eh? It's my Gmail. It's my Gmail account. I sent it
Okay.
to you on the group yesterday.
Professor Fernando Pérez
At Gmail.
at Gmail.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
That's the one. Okay. I was impressed when you told me you use Notion. I was like, oh, modern person, eh?
Yeah,
That's-
I'm learning it.
Mhm.
Use Notion in my job. I never saw Notion, but
Of course
it's,
not. This is a new tool, but it's fantastic.
yeah.
You don't need Office anymore. No more Office.
Yeah, I have something in Notion.
I have all your documents and exams and everything in my database of Nutshell. All my database is in Notion. That's my first tool. The principal tool, super useful.
Yeah, it's amazing and connect with Google Drive, Dropbox, Slack.
Recommendation. Mhm.
Yeah. It's
All
right.
baby.
I send you my Notion page.
Please send it to me.
What is the name of the app? The
Oh, it's great.
spelling?
Notion. Let me present it to you.
Notion. Noteon. Sorry.
Well, no, that's my Notion. Notion. That's my. Jesus Christ! I cannot open a Notion page.
Diary for teacher.
Exactly. All my information will leak.
Yeah.
How can I close?
It's okay. I see the name.
You saw the name, right? Notion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
great. I love it so much. Let me just present it to you like really quick.